oscillator. Welcome back.
This is Past the Rock.
One time for the fourth quarter. There we go. We'll learn how football works someday.
Or
I shouldn't be here. I should be here.
or
Because it's time to hand this thing off to the riffraff game show himself.
That's right. Listen, it's either going to be game show or game show H because host won't show up. Well, you know,
Your rap name should be riffraff GSH.
There you
GSH.
go.
Yeah, and then people are going to be like, what is
Ooh,
GSH?
Riff Raff Universe.
Right?
Riffraff
Riffraff historian, maybe?
Raffiners. I'll figure something out.
Riffrafferian? Just
But
figure something out.
yeah, we're somewhere here between the draft. I guess we're in the middle of OTAs. Is that where we are? Is that where
We
we're
are in
picking up?
OTAs right now. And,
We're actually going to present you some Cleveland Browns OTA quarterback stats for your pleasure.
Stat?
yeah, that's right. We're going to talk about the
Oh, are they
trajectory
also,
that the ball
playing
comes out of.
paintball and free throw toss and
I don't know. So we were talking about this earlier when you were out. Somebody actually was posting the statistics of each of the four quarterbacks competing for the job, or five quarterbacks, right? 4 or 5? 4.
Deshaun's
Realistically,
not there,
it's
is he?
Realistically, it's
four because fifth can't physically play football and is maybe mentally can't either anymore.
right. But yeah, you know, we're going to talk about intended air yards, average depth of target.
Exactly.
We're going to talk about release trajectory for the Cleveland
Rankings
Browns.
practice squad quarterbacks.
That's right. So first up, we're going to have Dylan Gabe. No, we're not going to talk about that shit. Listen. There's just no shot. Nobody gives two shits about OTAs unless you're a general manager and your star player's not there. Which I believe
Or
is
if you have
like,
to host 5 episodes of NFL Live a week
Or
for an hour
Yes.
each week.
what's
exactly.
what's her name?
Mina
Joy
Kunis?
Taylor's. Is she
Oh.
on Speak?
Oh no, yeah, she's on the Fox one, the Fox First Take show.
Yeah,
First things we speak.
I think it's just called Speak.
Speak, I thought it was first things first. Doesn't matter. Yeah, nobody watches that shit. Well, nobody with self-respect should be watching any of those hot take shows unless you're, watching us. And every once in a while, you'll get a hot take out of me. But no hot takes right now. But what we are going to talk about, though, we got a few things on the
Speak
docket.
with Paul Pierce and Keyshawn Johnson.
Yeah, that's just the weird. Those two do not have any on-camera chemistry. I don't like at all. They do not play off each other very well.
Same guy, different sport, basically.
I only brought her up to bring up her. I don't know if y'all heard her calling out Aaron Rodgers for not being at Steelers camp or whatever at OTAs, and it's like
He's not even signed.
he's not on the team.
But it's OTAs. You got to show up. You got to be there.
You got to show up, and we all know he's gonna be there unless something goes down south. And listen,
You know what?
it would be. No, go.
I
for
say
it,
take
go
it
for
further. Aaron Rodgers should be at all the OTAs. He should be going
he
from
should be
camp to
traveling around
camp.
like Will Ferrell in spring training.
Exactly. Like
He should
who
be
am
on
I
the
gonna
boat with
play
Stephon
for?
Diggs. What's he doing?
he should go to 31 of the 32 teams. He should purposely not be going to the Bears.
Minnesota.
I was gonna say Bears.
Oh, no,
funnier bit.
those are the two he has to specifically go to. You think Green Bay is maybe the one he would skip?
Maybe.
He claims that he still loves his time there and wants to be known for playing there. And all
Yeah,
that.
and of course he wants to get his jersey. I know all that.
Where he won a
part.
Super Bowl. Yeah.
And I think the best part of Aaron Rodgers is that no matter what he did, he almost could never leave more shamelessly than Favre did.
I think
To be
you're
fair,
right.
Favre tried. He was done, and they were like, "Too bad."
Favre wanted to still play for them. Technically, it's just
He just didn't want to go through the offseason. That's
He was about to be a walking PR disaster, and I think
Favre
they knew
wanted
they
to play
couldn't
for
hold it
us,
in
and they were like,
Yeah.
"How about New Jersey?"
Yeah, that's true. But you have to remember, Favre was
I think
About
he
to
had
make a
some
lot of poor decisions off the field as well,
yeah, for sure.
Oh,
even throughout the duration of the one good Minnesota season.
this is true. This is true. But enough about these washed up problematic quarterbacks. Let's talk about some other problematic players that are washed up. No shade to this guy.
As well.
Or maybe so. Who knows? Listen, we have here on the docket, the NFL is celebrating Pride Month. All right? Now, that could be touchy subject.
Even the NFL celebrates Pride Month, Ray Davis.
Look at that. But it could be problematic for
NFL
some good old red-blooded Americans out
if
there
the
who
NFL
don't
was
necessarily
allowed
like
to
that.
put, if the NFL was allowed to put a 33rd franchise in Virginia, it would be called the Klansmen, and we'd all have to get over it. But even they celebrate Pride.
Yeah, just maybe a different type of
They did
pride.
have to change Washington's name finally.
Yeah, but they want it to go back now. Okay, so
Yeah, which let's who
We're
knows?
letting
Maybe it
the
does
Chiefs
happen.
keep the tomahawk, even though I don't know if that's even theirs.
It's not. I think it's Florida State's. I
Or
mean,
Atlanta
from
Braves.
all the teams right now, or the Braves, whichever one came first. Maybe the Atlanta Braves. Listen, we're gonna talk about a certain player who didn't particularly like the NFL's current
ex-player.
ex-player who doesn't like the current NFL Pride, I guess, marketing campaign. I don't really know what to call it. But listen,
I forgot.
there's a video out there where it says, it's the NFL saying football is gay, football is lesbian, football is beautiful, football is queer, football is transgender,
Is that actually
football
what the commercial says?
football is for everyone. Right?
you didn't think I had something for this? Come on, this is the NFL. Low-key gave us a great
Just the
song.
worst. What are you doing?
The NFL is so cheesy, bro, because they're not genuine, bro.
Yeah. Now here's the thing. There is some nice stuff here. So it's the NFL proudly supports the Trevor Project. All right, and then the rest of the video ends with an actual.
Nice.
Yeah, it ends with a very significant statistic. LGBTQ youth with at least one accepting adult have 40% lower risk of attempting suicide. That is a very, important number to throw out there. And great messaging, or an attempt at great messaging,
You can't
But
put
here's
that
the thing.
after the cornball, because now I'm
Yeah.
out.
Well,
It's a lot of like those Jesus ads that just say a lot of wild shit, and then they're like, Jesus wouldn't have done that, and you're like, brother, you just threw me through a roller coaster before you ever even got to the Jesus part, man.
And this isn't a stand-up routine. If you're trying to send a good message, you should probably lead with that.
Yeah.
now,
Or maybe
known person to have some problematic takes regarding, the socioeconomic climate of the world. Des Bryant, former Dallas Cowboy, part-time Baltimore Raven, even more part-time New Orleans Saint.
Part-time gambler / crypto grifter / media personality too.
Media?
/
Oh yeah, he's got his own media brand.
Oh yeah,
So do we.
it's wild.
Yeah,
so do we.
His bankroll's a little bit bigger.
Yeah, we don't have billionaires secretly bankrolling ourselves.
He's at least paying people SB Nation money.
You think he pays more per month than we do to get this?
That's right.
I think if you work for Dez, you probably get a cool $150 a month, maybe.
Now this is
LinkedIn.
This is what Dez had to say 2 days ago, as of this recording. So he quotes. Well, he doesn't quote, right? He doesn't put it in quotation marks, but he's essentially quoting the first couple of lines, which is football is gay, football is queer, football is transgender, ... These are wild statements to make, ... Excuse my silliness. I'm going to proudly tell my boys football is none of these things. Wait, he's not done. I have nothing against gays, but this is far from right. Follow-up. It's gay players in the NFL, but fortunate in people's faces, especially children, can send the wrong message. Dez. Okay. Football is a real community like the gay community. Imagine telling gays they have to advocate for straight people. They probably would have a problem. oh man, it's like he almost gets it, but then he doesn't. But then it's like
he keeps weaving in and out of.
It's like, oh my god, Des, it's like you almost got
argument going on here.
It's like, oh my god, Des, you're about to get nope, you lost the point. Wait, you brought this back, and no, I'm like
true roller coaster of a
Excuse my silliness. Excuse my silliness is so incredible in the whole context of that.
Especially because it's not like he's not saying anything that's silly.
No, it's in fact it's a little
immediately
effeminate.
into a very serious tone.
It's a little effeminate too to say excuse my silliness in saying how macho my thing is. Just hilarious. Also,
That's a top tier.
Can we be honest?
We're gonna X out pride.
I would like us to do a power ranking. This is a quick off the cuff power ranking. This is with no negativity. This is just being objective. Of the major professional sports, football is the most homoerotic, no?
Of the four major, no, I'd say baseball.
Baseball is very sexualized
Baseball
with the men in
piles
tight
of
clothes.
men.
Listen, we have so many clips of these dudes doing so much homoerotic stuff.
But
you know,
realistically,
with each other and the play.
Realistically, there is a lot of homoerotic activity that can take place on a football field.
Or in a locker room.
Well, the locker rooms are basically even. We're gonna count the locker rooms out because anything can happen there, right? Unfortunately.
No. Unfortunately.
So on the field, product only. You know, basketball, I think we have to give an argument to it because there's a lot of the holding the nuts. There's a lot of bouncing asses off of pelvises. But the game has really moved away from that, so it's hard to look at the NBA and think of
I think
bouncing pelvises like we used to.
It's not what's the distinction in the type of contact sport?
Oh, well, it's contact and non-contact is what we call them, but we call basketball a non-contact sport, right?
But isn't it more likely it's like an indirect contact sport, right?
Right, but I think we lazily call them contact or non-contact because one, the point is to make contact. In basketball, it's incidental contact allegedly, but it's not incidental.
All right. Counter argument. All right, we're just only talking about what happens in the play, right? Not just
on the field,
not the sport culturally or anything like that. Because I was gonna say, listen, we've heard pitching and catching used for something non-involving baseball.
Right, but I mean, we honestly feel like that's more associated with the motion of a quarterback taking the snap than it is.
Which, I'll go back to the famous Troy Aikman in his rookie year when he goes up under, I think, the left guard. The left guard just looks back and goes, "It ain't me, Daddy."
You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. So, like,
sunshine.
I really think the NFL is unfortunate because they have to pander to the lowest common denominator. But if it was to be true to itself, I think it would be a very homoerotic place if it was true to its actual nature. I mean, we know what the Spartans were doing, and that's what all these guys think they are. It's
close thing to like Roman wrestling that we got. Yeah. So
I'm just
saying that's actual like college Iowa wrestling.
I guess so.
And I qualified it with the major sports, so I know that there's some that maybe you could nitpick more. But I do feel I guess
maybe the WWE is.
Yeah, I mean,
most homoerotic.
100%. Let's go with that.
I think if you expand it, I think if you expand it to that, I think it's a pretty easy.
Because they're actually acting,
and they actually have some of those storylines kind of built into it, where I think they want to play on that factor, even if it's not directly in the storyline. I think they want to play on your thinking it could be.
I'm trying to figure out how you can.
They've done that with plenty of people
in the four major sports, but
I don't think so either.
So, like I said, I think for football, it's a great stance. I think it's hilariously shallow from the NFL, but this is also racism.
It's almost too bad that like LeBron or maybe Tom Brady aren't gay.
Well, I mean, one of them's allowed to make out with his son, so that's cool, right?
One of these guys, like one of these major stars has to be, right? Maybe at least bi, but they're like,
That's fair.
Well, no, I do think that's a good point, too. And I was actually hilarious. I thought it was hilarious that Des made a point to talk about how there's gay dudes in the NFL because I don't actually think there's active gay. Is there?
I mean,
active open?
Players know, but no one's really saying it.
Right. So I thought that was funny because we've always known this. And again, I think in athletics, I think that was Sue Bird said the line. Sue Bird had the funniest line on Pablo's show where she was like, "The dynamics, the math doesn't math." Like, look at the WBA. That makes sense. That's what a plot line looks like. Maybe it's a little more skewed in one way because it's athletics, but ultimately you get a decent portrayal of what like society's like. With you guys, you're just all lying because there ain't no way it's 100%.
Yeah, no, not at all. I'm just like, I'm looking at this, man. I'm like, it's one of those things where I'm just like, man, I just want to shake this man. I'm like, you almost have it. You almost have it. But then you don't. And
well, now you know.
And then you double down on not having
it. Now you know exactly what it was like to root for Des Bryant. He almost had it, and then he didn't.
Story of his life. Story of his life, huh? Yeah, that's poetic, actually. I appreciate that. All right.
Good ender.
Now, we'll move on from one touchy subject to a more superstitious subject. I don't fucking know. Listen, there is no real great transition here, but we're just gonna talk about it. It's curse season. All right, we got the Madden curse, and then Bethke, you got in here the MAGA curse. We can go into that.
Well, I was asking you more or less. How do you feel as an Eagles fan? Are you more concerned about a MAGA curse or a Madden curse?
Is this a situation where you're multiplying negatives?
Yeah. Well, no, there's not going to be a PEMDAS. This is not going to be PEMDAS. All right.
I mean, more or
this
less.
Is not multiplying.
That turns into a positive.
You're adding two negatives, which
I do
still
think,
makes more negative, right? No.
As we get into the subject of this, if we want to further go into the sociology of people, I think it's interesting to think about how in certain sports you might want certain demographics. We've seen the jokes online that you'd rather have a MAGA offensive lineman than, anybody from like a city boy or something, right? You want corn-fed, thick-neck white boys, the stereotype. Now, if we look at the NFL, we probably see a very diverse range of successful linemen.
That's why I want on my line, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Okay, sorry.
Listen, I want a country fella. I don't want a MAGA
we know
fella.
what the stereotype is. But they're one and the same. And then we talk about closeted homoerotic activity. Well, MAGA is one and the same. So these things do actually lend themselves to be around the same area, right? So it is an argument of I think you almost would prefer a MAGA team. I was listening to someone the other day it was a Minnesota Twins fan. They're excited. Their team is good this year. They were like, oh my God, one of my players is MAGA. And then someone was like, brother, I got some bad news for all white MLB players and you. Because that shit is batting like 99.9.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those arguments. It's one of those funny arguments. Is like, the Madden curse is historic. I'm sure it's probably not as tried and true as it used to be. We don't truly have a MAGA curse. But if you look online, a lot of fans don't love it when they have to see that. Fair.
No, yeah. And now for anybody who might be a little confused what's going on, MAGA curse, Madden curse, Saquon Barkley is on the cover of Madden for this year's, Madden game. And also, he's boys now with the president.
And he went with your coach to go get paid to go speak at a big international Christians conference thing.
Which, Patrick, I think you pointed out, has been shown to be connected to like a money laundering scheme or something.
What was that? What did I miss? Sorry.
No, you told us something about this convention that Nick Sirianni and Saquon Barkley were speaking at, having to do with I don't know. It's just like some money laundering
some
or something.
Self-help, motivational nonsense.
Yeah.
Where they just
Yeah, we're
take
like
a bunch of poor people's money and run away with it.
Bootstraps.
Yeah.
Like, how did I do it? Well, good thing you asked. I happen to bring my bootstraps with me.
Now, how do I feel about this? Dude, if my messages on the Discord haven't been enough indication, I think the vibes were atrocious. All right. I'm like, oh, shit. Okay, he's on the Madden cover. All right, cool. I remember the last time an Eagles player was on the Madden cover. That was a dog shit season. It was also after a Super Bowl. Granted, they had lost that Super Bowl, but...
And one of the most underrated entries into Madden.
Probably one of my favorite.
The McNabb one was the quarterback vision, right? That was the first year quarterback vision. Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
2007.
No, it was
2006 was the first one. Yeah.
With QB Vision? I guess I
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah.
have 6. I just didn't know about it. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, QB Vision was on 6. It was very hilarious how very disproportionate QB Vision was for some quarterbacks.
Some of them were funny though. Some of
yeah,
them were pretty
but
funny.
like
So
I was
had
like,
I had Madden 07 on the Wii, so you're trying to do the motion throw in, and Tavares Jackson is like a single pixel wide
It's just
straight
one
down the
line. Even though they were funny though, because like
Peyton Manning's was like beyond 180.
Peyton was the whole field, and Favre was hilarious because Favre's more OG at the time this game comes out, but they were realistic with him. They put him like in that like small. It was like a decent one, but it was small enough for you to still throw hella pigs.
And then on the run, they also made it a lot more unforgiving.
Yeah. Oh my god. Because they had to. Because guys like me took that Atlanta Falcons team and turned it into just absolute terrorism with video game form. Triple option, the Atlanta Hawks or the Atlanta Falcons in triple option.
So as far as Madden curse, the CBS Sports article gives it 58% curse, 30% not curse. Wait.
There should be more numbers.
There's also some half cursed in there, so I don't think they counted that. But give me 1 second.
I mean, what's the recent history?
So 50, I was gonna say more recently it's been a mix. But
it was bad for a while, and that's where the curse got
George, and it was good. He was fine, and then Dante Culpepper happened, and then it was just a run of just people getting hurt.
And then it was like, it was like 6-7 years in a row, basically, that the curse just kept happening. Yeah.
So the total number is 58% of cursed.
Because I think they even put Favre on one, and they had to awkwardly put Favre in a Jet uniform.
Yeah, they did put one with Favre in the Jet uniform, and that season went awful for him. But yeah, listen. Back to do I think these curses are going to compound? Yes, I do actually. I believe in vibes. This is bad vibes all over Saquon Barkley right now. And we could also somebody's going to be like, who's not superstitious whatsoever. He's like, well, look at his age and look how many touches he's coming off of. Of course, he's going to have a down year. It's like, and not just that. It's not just that. It's the whole bad vibes. They were the first team in 2017. I think they were the first professional sports team during that first presidential run, where they're like, "No, we're not going." Technically, they weren't invited, but they weren't going to go anyway, right? And now this go around, they're like, "Yeah, we'll go." I'm like, "Wait, what? You guys set a precedent, and now okay, whatever." And there's Saquon hanging out at the White House days before, golfing with the guy. I'm like, I don't like this.
No, you know what's funny is you're really one of Trump's boys when you catch him in the fucking raggedy ass polo shirt tucked into the big ass like triple XL shorts with that fucking big ass goofy ass hat on his head.
Yeah,
that's like when you've truly made it into the douchebag circle of life.
Yep, and there's Saquon. I'm like, oh, great. And then he does that. With Nick Sirianni. Sirianni's not surprising. That doesn't surprise me one bit. But I'm just looking at Saquon like, all right, you are bringing bad vibes to this whole operation, man. Thank you for the previous year, though. I'll see you on the IR list this season because it's probably going to happen. No good.
Fair, this isn't a league that often in recent history has repeats. It's tough.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough. I mean, the last ones to do it were what? The Patriots, right?
I mean, are we still waiting on an NFC East division repeat winner?
We are.
Yes.
I mean,
we will be back on the clock this year with the Philadelphia Eagles once again.
That is some wild parody.
Oh yeah, because every year you could make an argument that Philly or for the last decade you've always either had. Well, it's usually the last decade. It's basically been Dallas or Philly's gonna break the curse, guys. No, it's they're in position. They're gonna do it, and then it doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen, and then randomly, when you think it's going to be all right, they're like, all right, well, Dallas won it, and Dallas is about to win, and you're like, Philly's bad. Dallas got this. Washington just pops out of nowhere, and then you're like, or New York has a random good year, and you're like,
they offset the variance that would allow one of them to actually do it.
Eli didn't even win the division the years that they won the Super Bowl, right?
I don't think they ever won the division.
No, because the Tony, that's the infamous Tony Romo's going to vacation season.
Cabo.
So the Cowboys were the one that year.
Yeah, he has 2 Super Bowl titles, but I don't think he has any division titles.
I love that for him. That's why he's Hall of Famer to me.
Fuck that.
That's incredible. That's special right there.
I mean, that is a cool story.
Yeah.
As annoying as it is.
That's incredible. Like I can't even be mad at that. But I think if someone's going to end up winning back-to-back Super Bowls or 3 Super Bowls in a row, even
So
I think it would
Josh
take.
Manning.
Yeah, I think it would take a team that's been in the dumps for about 30 years or so, and really.
Oh wait, the Chiefs were the last one to win back-to-back times.
I
How can I be that dumb?
I didn't say down the dumps for 60 years.
Hey, we're here. We exist. Skull.
No, but I am interested to see the first three-peat. I really thought the Chiefs had it last year, and then they just looked so bad, and the Eagles had built something so dominant that it just kind of
I think
wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
But
I think the worst thing I could ever imagine is having to play the Bills in the Super Bowl. I know how it's going to end, and I'm not going to like it.
you want to know who's the unluckiest team in the
Oh,
NFL
man.
history? Is that what now you got me rooting for that Super Bowl, Loki? Actually,
The
I
NFL
never thought about it before.
love that storyline.
Oh my god, I've never thought about that one before.
That'd be a good one. I would want to see that.
It's
Actually,
the ultimate. You're almost good off.
Like it's the ultimate. If
No,
like
we're crazy more successful than them overall in the regular season, but we never made it to 4 Super Bowls in a row.
no, that's the thing is it's like these are both the greatest teams of alternative history.
Yeah,
alternative history.
yeah.
That one's a wild one to say.
I picked a good one here.
Well, sports is a fickle bitch, and we don't get what we want most of the time.
Yeah, I'll take all my basketball titles, I guess.
So that's true, and maybe more to come. We will probably spend a lot of time talking about that in the recent weeks. Although the NFL OTAs are about to be too important to not lead off with,
Yeah, we're gonna find out who's gonna win the Cowboys' 4th running back job.
Exactly.
We need to know
Well,
all 6 DBs for the Minnesota Vikings.
You might have to, hear some Nick Chubb to the Cowboys rumors. You know what I mean?
He's still unsigned. This is the part of the year where we're actually going to see that third wave of free agents where it's the vets who have big names but are kind of already over the hill, but just still good enough to contribute to somebody. We just don't know who it is.
I do think it's funny to talk about, if anyone hasn't heard, that the new culture that Shoddy's developing in Dallas is hilarious, where he's taking them out to lunch all the time and paintball, and apparently all the position groups are competing in free throw contests throughout camp.
It's very cute.
A lot of team building going on.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well try anything there, and it is funny to hear a lot of the players say that maybe this is a positive thing. So I don't know.
I mean, it would be a cool storyline if it works out, or you can go the cynical route where you're like, oh, it's such a great vibe. They're playing ping pong. They brought in a ping pong table, and then 3 years later, we got rid of the ping pong table. It's a distraction. We're here to focus on football.
No, I really do think the best way to look at Shoddy is he could either be the dumb luck guy who fixes the culture for real, or he's the best puppet that the Joneses have ever created.
What if
We're
he's
not
like
sure
the
what it
Eli
is
Manning of coaches?
That's my hope. I mean, truly, that is all I'm asking for. I need some idiot to come through and dumb luck.
You're just good enough, buddy.
What have I been saying? I need someone dumb luck to bring the Cowboys to Super Bowl, and maybe he's just dumb lucky enough. We shall see.
We shall. But yeah, I mean that will conclude everything that we have for the NFL segment. I got nothing else, unless there was something else that you wanted to touch upon, fellas.
Nah. Football season will be here when it's here.
Let's start.
All right. Well, before we end things, though, you better stop that music because we have one more rip rap lyric, baby. All right,
Good.
Patrick. This one might throw you for a loop. Who knows? All right. I'm gonna give you this verse: Peach, beach, East Greece, diamonds dancing off my teeth. For Ghetto's creep, I can't be held back, no leash. Capiche? Underrated, often hated. Bentley rollerbladed, Cadillac is escalated. Speakers fuzz-gated. Life is getting better. It's a celebration.
Bitches.
It's a celebration.
homie.
Kitchenera, baby.
Oh wow.
Kitchenera. The song's called Carlos Slim.
Okay, maybe I should ask the song names next time.
More context clues, the closer we can come to solve the mystery of the riffraff.
I don't think anybody
Alright.
can understand the mysteries that is riffraff. Jody High Roller. Bless.
We'll see.
Shout out.
See you guys next week.
This is Past the Rock.